Okay, so our next speaker is Professor Declan O'Byrne, I hope I pronounced it okay, Rector of Sophia University Institute, and he's going to present a showcase about Sophia University Institute. So welcome, Professor Declan.
Thank you. Just a second. So good evening to all of you. Thanks very much for the invitation and the attention you'll give me for the hopefully brief presentation I'll give. Much of the beginning part of my talk touches on things that have been said this morning especially, and some again in the afternoon, and I was trying to think, should I be worried? And then I realized, no, not really, because it means that you're in the right place. But you know, it's good to see convergence. I hope you'll see it too. So I think we've been saying that we're all, as humanity, standing at a type of threshold. And among the things that say that we're at this threshold is the question of artificial intelligence, because it's reshaping, and we don't know how it will do it, but we know that it's reshaping industries and organizations and ways of doing things with unprecedented speed. And the question that emerges, one of the questions that emerges, in this conference, it's probably the one that comes most clearly into light, is what becomes of leadership when the technology is able to do so many things probably better than we can. So just think of the fact that they can design workflows, they can do market predictions, predict trends, draft strategic plans. We can give minimum instructions and they'll do an excellent job, or a very plausible job at least, in all of these. And I think it's already been quite clearly stated by various people that, of course, these are tools. These are tools. I think as tools, therefore, we don't have to resist them. We have to learn how to use them. But what I want to speak about is the need to be conscious in recognizing what is specifically human in leadership. Because sometimes we're a bit embarrassed, you know. If these technologies can do so many things better than us, what's left for us to do? In fact, somebody here asked me that this morning. We're a bit sort of nervous that they'll take over. So what is it what we have to reclaim, that which makes leadership profoundly human, the aspect of humanity in leadership. So I just thought, if you don't mind, spend a few short moments thinking about it. Okay, so we're all familiar with large language models and chatbots and all these kind of things. So they can produce remarkably good sometimes and definitely plausible text on any range of things. They can produce graphs, they can produce images, they can even handle, I don't know, I presume many of you have tried, they can even handle ethical questions. You know, you can ask them to offer a reflection on ethical question A or B or C, and they'll produce reasonably good text. They'll be able to say the pros and cons, on the one hand this, on the other hand that, and so on, and you can read through it, and you could be initially a bit concerned that they're really quite good at this. What they cannot do, I think, is what only we can do, which is gain a human grasp of what these strings of symbols mean. They have no idea. So they can't gain a grasp not only of the meanings, but also of the weight of these types of issues. They can't sit with, if you're in a work meeting, there was an image here that if I had made a PowerPoint, I would have put it in. You know, you've got a board meeting or a group of people working on an issue, and people are maybe exchanging different views. No technology will be able to understand beyond, well, firstly, they won't understand the meanings of the words that are being said. But even if they could, they can't understand what is not said. Often people say one thing and they mean a different thing. There are deeper concerns. They can't sit with a team member who is suffering a loss, personal tragedy, who still has to produce. They lack moral imagination, humor, corporeity, feeling. They can certainly accelerate our work, but they lack the precisely human subjectivity that gives and understands the meanings of these symbols, that the symbols that they so efficiently produce. So what does it mean for a business leader? I think it's an exclusively human act, and probably will remain such, to bear these things in mind, the things that are behind the strings of symbols that are our human words. What does it mean to engage with all the partners who are working on urban renewal and understand really what the issues behind the various positions are? Anyway, the problem is technology can never, what they can do very efficiently, they can't do with the depth and the subjectivity of human beings. And we need to, how do you say? We really need to emphasize and form for specifically human leadership. Okay, so for these kinds of reasons, we have to be more deliberate, I think. And as it probably says Sophia University Institute, you understand it's a center of formation. We need to be more deliberate in developing our specifically human capacities. There's a real need, I think, for education systems to rise to this challenge and to help develop, beyond what comes spontaneously, but develop ever better, deeper human approaches to these things, including the moral and intellectual challenges that are presented by our life. We need to promote organizational cultures that prize collective flourishing, the capacity to build alliances, transform isolated efforts into movements for human progress. I think we're seeing some of this type of dynamic here. Okay, so allow me to say something in this context about the Sophia University Institute that I represent. It's a small but unique university institute born from the vision and the spiritual legacy of Chiara Lubich in 2008. And her charism gives identity to this institute because she's the foundress. And from its very beginning, Sophia attempted to address the deep fractures of our time, and these, in the meantime, may have changed form and become deeper, but it's always this question of understanding the world we're in and how to build the capacity to be effective builders of the future. So, Sophia, the name is wisdom. Chiara Lubich thought that this university was a place where one could go to learn wisdom. A leader needs wisdom. They don't need just to be able to produce strings of very plausible text. They need to be able to understand the unquantifiable. They need to find what the data sets don't contain, because the whole human dimension of the challenges of now are not already contained in what the data sets contained. So we're making some steps in redefining the focus of our institute in the next year or two, giving a bit more focus to, maybe substantially more focus to philosophical, ethical formation of people who will then be able to engage in whatever type of leadership roles that they have, giving a space that works through the courses, but also in the experience of, we speak about the community life, that is the interaction between students and with lecturers and the whole academic community, and train people who do what the AI will never be able to do. That is, ask profound questions about what is the world we're building, who is it for, how do we go about it in a way that promotes human flourishing. So I think that's just to give a general idea. We're sort of hard at work at refining the various details, but I think that's okay. Thank you very much for your attention.